together and pledge our love to one another. Oh, my darling, I will love you from this moment. There will be no other. And on this road that lies before us lives the love, the joy and sorrow. But we will always try to remember the pain today is the joy tomorrow. And now together, love will be much better, yes it will. Together, our love will share, and forever, love will keep us together. Our lives will change. But until then, we will follow this road endlessly, for we believe that we have found love from this moment until forever. And now together, love will be much better, yes it will. Together, our love will share, and forever, love will keep us together. Our lives are gonna change all together. Love will be much better, yes it will. Together, our lives are gonna change all forever. Love will keep us together. Our lives will change. Together and pledge our love to one another. Oh, my darling, I will love you from this moment. There will be no other. And on this road that lies before us lives the love, the joy and sorrow. But we will always try to remember the pain today is the joy tomorrow. And now together, love will be much better, yes it will. Together, our love will share, and forever, love will keep us together. Our lives will change. But until then, we will follow this road endlessly, for we believe that we have found love from this moment, from this moment until forever.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It is
Together,
overcast afternoon.
better, yes it will. Together,
But nonetheless, we are going to be going on with marriage talk.
love will share.
Suzanne Baker is roving at the moment, and we're not too certain that we can get her for the program today. She is somewhere in St. James. She's somewhere in Montego Bay, to be exact. And she's trying to make her way to be able to do the program. But unfortunately, we have to go ahead without Susan Baker today. And so you're stuck with Pastor Hall. I hope you're not disappointed. I really would love to have Susan here to discuss the matters that we have at hand. But we're going to try to do, and I hope you can
Lives will change.
I hope you can enjoy the program as we go ahead. Let's take the theme one more time,
Our love,
and then we go
another.
into our topic this afternoon.
I will love.
And remember, if you are married, this program is for you. If you are separated, this program is for you. If you are having storms or challenges with your marriage, this program is for you. If you're contemplating getting married, this program is for you.
Sorrow.
And so we encourage you to listen in and participate. The numbers to participate is you can voice note us on WhatsApp, and it is 876 384 8037. That's 876 384 8037. That you can link up your WhatsApp with that number, and you can, of course, give us send us a voice note. Or if you want to be on YouTube, you can go on YouTube right now. Just type in Marriage Talk with Suzanne Baker, and you will be live. Yes. So we invite you to come on along.
Till then,
And we're talking about in-laws and marriage.
we will follow.
Now I need you today to talk to me, okay? So if you're on Facebook, we sent a link there so that you can join us. If you're on the Gold Radio Jamaica website, if you're on there, you can also leave a comment. If you are on YouTube, you can leave a comment, or you can just plainly WhatsApp, send us a voice note preferably, or send us a text message on WhatsApp to let us know your views. All right, so we're talking about in-laws, and we're going to look at how they affect or how they enhance your marriage. Do they affect more than enhance marriage's in-laws? How useful are in-laws in marriage? Do we need them? Do we ignore them? Do we invite them? What do we do with our in-laws? And so I am here, and I really want to know how you feel about in-laws. There are some people who don't talk to their in-laws at all. It's never really a good thing to um, X them out totally. I mean, you need them at least. You need them to be able to converse. You know, how important are in-laws in your marriage? How important are in-laws in your marriage? And let's hear from you, because there are people who they don't talk to their in-laws at all. you know it's a taboo. They really don't talk to their in-laws. at all. And it really is. It's sad to hear what's happening with some marriages as they think about um their marriage. They don't talk to their in-laws at all, and they don't converse. They don't have anything to do with their in-laws. And what do you think? How do you cope with in-laws? What do you do? Not just cope, but how do you deal with your in-laws? Do you entertain them? Do you give them the welcome mat, or do you um, really, as soon as you're married, I'm out of here? What do you do with in-laws? How do you handle in-laws? Now, I really want to get into some music, but I really want to know, from my audience. I really need you today. I need you so much because I really want to know what's going on in your headspace. There are a lot of people who their in-laws can't even call nor come over. So it's from one extreme to the other. You know, um, some entertain them too much, and some don't entertain them at all. So how do we handle our in-laws? Now, I know that there can be some trouble and problems with in-laws, because especially the infamous mother-in-law, there are people who don't like to entertain their mother-in-law because they believe that most of the time mother-in-law is nosy, and she interferes and she gets involved, especially when it's a son that is involved who is married to this girl. You don't know this girl, why I'm just love she. And I think that most times respect and the kind of the treatment that you give, it's based upon your respect for your son or daughter. Yes, if you don't respect your son or daughter, then it will reflect in how you treat your son-in-law or your daughter-in-law. you know and I think respect goes a long way. So you might believe that your intervention in the marriage is because you want to protect your son. It's really um, due to a lack of respect that you have for your son or daughter, that why you meddle so much and why you do the things you do that negatively impact on the marriage. So if you respect your son or daughter, as the case may be, you would do things that would you would sometimes keep your distance. You will keep your in-law distance so that the marriage may get to thrive and get to develop into what it ought to be. So I want to hear from you now. Really want to hear from you. I am um I'm hoping that you would give me your you can call me. You can call me for the purposes of getting on. And we're talking about in-laws here today, and how it is that we treat our in-laws. We might have a sister-in-law or a brother-in-law that might you know be kind of dictating. There are in-laws that depend on uh, their siblings. For instance, a brother get married and he was the one that was holding up the family because maybe daddy died or some of the other parents died or something, and he was the older one, and he was taking care of certain duties and things. But now that him get married, he cannot spend the money and the time that he usually spend, And so, the brother-in-law or the sister-in-law, the sibling, might get angry at the wife of whom he has chosen, who he chose. And they might feel that they are being cheated. But, as the scripture says, you know, a man shall leave his father and mother and also his brother and sister and cleave to his wife. He cannot take up the responsibility solely um, now that he's married, right? His attention and his resources will have to be in his marriage first and foremost. And you really, as sisters-in-law and brother-in-law, you should respect that. You know, you should leave it up to him now to decide when he can do it and how he can help. Because it's really unfair for him to be diverting funds from his marriage to siblings. You really have to, um, as in-laws, be careful, because if the foot were on the other shoe, you would not really want that to happen. I'm sure you would not really want your husband, your wife or husband, to be diverting funds that are badly needed for his marriage and his home to be going to brothers and sisters or mother and father. There are some mothers-in-law, who believe that they are being cheated and their son should pay more attention to them, and so on, and take away from the wife, because who is she? I brought him for 9 months, and that's always the case. I bear him for 9 months in my womb, and all of that stuff. And who is this girl that is taking away his attention? She, I am your mother, and that kind of way. You need to chill, and cool off, and take a chill pill, yes, and really respect the man and his marriage, and not make him have to do things that you know it's going to lead to um his wife suffering or husband suffering, because you are hoping that he would support your needs more than his wife. And who is she? She is his wife. She is his wife, or he is her husband, and she has claims on him now, because somebody gave him or her away, and therefore you now belong to this other person. And it's up to your discretion to treat your parents right, to treat your siblings right, or so on, and to give them what you think that they need, you know and it's up to your discussion. But you must be careful that you don't divert things that are meant for the marriage into the in-laws. So how does in-law impact the marriage? How does the in-law impact the marriage? Do you think that most marriages, in-laws interfere more than help to enhance the marriage? Talk to me. Talk to me. You can call me 876-384-8037. 876-384-8037. Call me and tell me how you think in-laws um, impact the marriage. Is it negative or good? Is it a negative way, or it is a good way? And we want to know, because there are so many marriages going on the rocks, and it's all because of in-laws interference, and the marriage is not given a lifeline or a chance to grow, because of some interfering in-law, whether it be brother-in-law, mother-in-law, father-in-law, or any one of them. And it doesn't really matter if it's the father side or the mother side. Once there is interference, or once there is, and it might not be interference, it might just be goodwill, but it's not welcome or ask for. And there needs to be no hostility between in-laws, because whether or not you like it, you are married into the family. You are married into the family, and therefore you will have to, in some way, put up with them. Yes, in some way you have to, and you have to make it work. You have to make it work. I feel all alone here. I feel all alone here in studio because I'm not finding my people. My people are not calling me. I wonder why are my people abandoning me today. Today I need you. I really do. This is marriage talk, and we are looking at in-laws, how they impact or how they make the marriage either thrive or the marriage um, becomes a problem. It, are in-laws a problem to marriages, or are they an asset to marriages? Talk to me. The number to call me is 3880 876 8037 3848037 3848037. And let's see if we can get Suzanne. She might be roving. She might be going around in Montego Bay, and I just want to talk to her for a little while and see if she is okay. And all right, let's see if we can get Suzanne Baker. I don't know where she is at the this particular moment, if she's able to talk or so on. But we'd love to connect with her and find out, her views on it. All right, all right. It seems as if we are not able to get Suzanne Baker online. Let me see now what's happening right here. Yes. Now, do you believe that in-laws, what the on a regular basis, do in-laws enhance marriages or do they detract from the marriage? Are they needed once you get married? Do you ignore your in-laws and say, well, they're too nosy and I don't want none of them people fasting on my business and so on? What do you do with in-laws? Brother-in-law, sister-in-law, mother-in-law, or father-in-law? Um, do you believe that they are intruding in your? Do you see them as intruders, or do you see them as necessary in-laws? How do you treat your in-laws? As we look at marriage talk today, we have this phenomenon. Um, we need to deal with it. We need to deal with it, and maybe it is that these questions are very, very important. Um, Looking at it right now, there are a lot of people who have um, in-laws that they don't talk to, and their marriages are. They feel that their marriage is doing very well without the in-laws, the nosy in-laws. Call me and tell me. You don't even have to call your own name if you don't want to, but you can talk to me and let me know, how does in-law impact on marriage life, right? How does in-laws impact on marriage life? I want to something I got from one of my good friends, Cassius. He sent it to me, and I want to play this right now so that you can hear it. Cassius. let me get rid of that there, and let me go now straight to this this very, very important. Pastor was giving us, right. Let's go.
And by the name of Nathaniel Hawthorne, the great American writer. But he was working, Nathaniel Hawthorne was working for a custom house, and one day he came home totally dejected to his wife. And he told her, he said, honey, I'm so disappointed. I lost my job today at the custom house. And instead of his wife being depressed about it, she looked at him with excitement and glee. And she says, goody, now you'll have time to write that book. And he just sort of half-heartedly said, yeah, you're right. He said, but what are we going to live on? And she said, you know, you'd give me money every week for housekeeping. And I saved a little bit of that money every week for years. And she said, honey, I've saved enough for us to live on for a whole year. She said, I've always known you were a genius. She says, now you can write your book. And he took a year off because his wife, a woman by the name of Sophia, the name Sophia means wisdom. For a wise woman, because a wise woman builds her house, and a foolish woman tears it down with her own hands. But when a man was dejected, rejected, and feeling like a failure, she had this uncanny ability to look at him and not see a failure, but a genius whose work had not yet been discovered. And he came home and wrote like a madman, and wrote the Scarlet Letter that became a masterpiece. And the greatest blessing that he had ever received in his life was disguised as a termination notice. But his wife was enlarged already. And that's why the Bible says that he that finds, the original Hebrew says, he that finds a good wife, not just any wife, but a good one. You got to find a Sophia that has the wisdom to see treasure in somebody who's broke. Are you listening? Somebody that has gone through hell and high water, that is feeling dejected and rejected, is feeling the brokenness of life. And you need somebody that will look at you with excitement, who believes in your dream. And Sophia believed in his dream to the degree that she had started saving for it. Faith and works. She believed, she knew that there was a genius in him, that there was a literary work waiting to be unveiled in his life. And he was too busy focused on what he was doing that he wasn't able to focus on what he was becoming. Are you listening? And he was looking at all of the stuff from his past and what had happened, but he had a Sophia in his life. Wisdom, it takes wisdom to look beyond the surface of what looks like failure and disappointment and see genius. She didn't just see genius, she said it to him. She spoke life to him and enacted his destiny. I'm absolutely convinced that my father couldn't have become the Nathaniel Hawthorne Bronner that he was without my mother. My daddy found his Sophia. My mother believed in my daddy to his dying day. She encouraged him. She was the wind beneath his wings.
All right. And Just a little episode there of something really, really, really important. And, there are a lot of people who um, don't acknowledge their father or mother in law because they say that they don't need them, but we do have to deal with them. They might not be in everyday running of your marriage life because that's not what they're there for. They're there as backup support. When you need them, you refer to them. But how important are in laws in married life? How important are in laws as we revisit this topic? Because, there are a lot of people who brush them aside and say, they are old fogey. That was their time. That was their era. We don't need them now. We're dealing with modern times, and they might be married for over 50 years now, and we are young people. We have our lives to live, and we don't need their advice because that was then. But now, it's modern times. How do you see it? Make your comments on the WhatsApp platform. And of course, the number for the WhatsApp platform is the same number that you can call. It is 876-384-8037. That's 876-384-8037. You can call the number right now, or you can send us a text, or you can send us a voice note. That would be even better. Send us a voice note. Or you can go, if you are inclined to go on YouTube live and make your comments right there. How important are in laws to marriage life? How important are they? Should we invite them? Should we ignore them? Should we tolerate them, or should we be glad for them? How should we respond to our in-laws? And it's not just mother-in-law. It's not just mother-in-law. We're talking about brother-in-law. As we were saying earlier, that some brothers-in-law and some sisters-in-law feel that the wife is our husband is now taking away from what they usually get. Remember now, you can't support them like how you used to do it if you're married. You can't really just be taking resources um, that should be used in your marriage, in your family life. Remember, now you have a family and you've got to support your wife or husband. Now it's at your discretion when you want to give them something. Of course, you can still give your siblings or your father or mother something from now, and we hope that you would do that, but it would not be taken away from your marriage life. First and foremost, you deal with your marriage life, you know, and there are some people who look at it different. You can get several wives, but you can't get several mother. Don't ever put your wife or husband on a fleece like that. Don't do that because that's not fair. You chose them. You chose them. So therefore, they should not be in a situation where they are beckoning for attention. You chose them. So therefore, now that you pick her, you must enjoy her. Now that you pick him, you must enjoy him. All right? So in laws are important, but you've got to be careful now that you don't overdo things. You know, of course, your brother and your sister is not your in law, but they become your wife's in law. And if they are getting more attention than your wife, you're not doing a good job. And if they are getting your attention more than your husband, in the case of a man, and your wife is giving more attention to her parents and her siblings, than the husband, then it's not fair. It's not right. It's really not right. You're not doing. And based upon the Bible, you know, in Genesis, we are to leave and to cleave. Therefore, shall a man leave his father and mother and cleave unto his wife. Right? Now, that leaving and cleaving there means that you will have to know, be careful that you spend your time, and you must enjoy your partner. Enjoy them. Don't endure them. You know, because there are people who they endure their partner and they don't spend enough time with their significant other. They spend enough time with their parents. One of the sad things that happens, though, is that um there are men, especially men, they get into this trap that I don't want my parents feel like left out. I want to go there and eat like I used to and sit down, and as soon as me and my wife have a little dispute, my gonna mama. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Sit and work out your differences and work out the thing. Because if you leave and go to mama, and when you come back, you are distant to your wife. And I dare say that the mothers and fathers too don't encourage them to do that. I know you like the attention to, but don't encourage. If they're married, let them go home. Let them work it out. Let them work it out. Don't encourage them to, all right, when you're ready, come over here, because so my cooking always better. No, don't do that. You know, please don't do that, because that's really not good. Somebody says, "Good evening, sir. Trust me, they are of no importance, and I am talking about both sides, sir. They are of no importance." Wow, Nancy, you said that they are no importance. I think you mean that they are of some importance. No importance at all. No, the in-laws are of no importance to your marriage. All right, that's one view. All right, okay. That's one view. What say you? You that are listening on YouTube, you that are um joining us through the Facebook link. What say you? Is it that they are of no importance? Do you join with my friend here that says the in-laws are of no importance? You think so? All right, let's talk about it. Let's talk. Somebody give me a call. Give me a call. The number to call me is 384 That's 876-384-8037. Do you agree with the saying? Somebody just texted me a while ago that they are of no importance at all, the in laws. Do you agree with that statement? Um, um, are they always intruding? Are, are all in laws the same though? I mean, when you take it out, I mean, do they have the same intention to interfere and to meddle into your affairs? I remember, nobody knows the child that the family member that you have married to than the mother or father. They know them better than you, in some ways, So they will know their disposition and they will know their attitudes and moods. So um, if they are of no importance, wow, then that means that they are intruders. And what do you do with intruders? People who intrude on your privacy. All right. So let's get some music in here. And I hope that when I come back, I will get to do you sing this song to your mother-in-law? would you dedicate this to your mother-in-law?
For the time that you've given me, the memories are all in my mind. And now that we've come to the end of our rainbow, there's something I must say out loud. You were once, twice, three times a lady, and I love you. You were once, twice, three times a lady, and I love you. And I love you. When we are together, the moments I cherish with every beat of my heart. To touch you, to hold you, to feel you, to need you. There's nothing to keep us apart. Hmm. You're once, twice, three times a lady, and I love you. And I love you.
All right. Wow, wow. Once, twice, three times a lady. And wow, that's something you'd say to your wife. Um, would you say that to your mother-in-law? Would you say that to your mother-in-law? All the men out there, we're talking about in-laws. How important are they to any marriage? Are in-laws, and we're not just talking about mother-in-law. No, we're talking about the sibling of your husband or your wife. How important they are. Um, there are people who mark them out and say, no, they're not important. I don't need them. They cause more trouble than anything. But remember that this person still has to, your spouse has to relate to these people. Yes. And though they might, rip your insides apart, you might really feel gut wrenching disgust with how them operate. But you still have to relate. Your wife or husband has to relate to these people. Yeah. And so how do you deal with it when you know your wife have to go off and your husband have to go off to his sisters or his brothers, or your wife have to go off to her sisters or brothers, and they don't like you, and you certainly don't like them? How do you deal with it? How do you deal with it? And then when something come up and my brother said this and my sister said this, what do you do? You change the subject, or how do you handle it? What should be the right response to? As Christians, we've got to forgive and to try to cope as much as possible, as much as lies in our way. Um, we have to be cordial. We might not be best of friends, and that's a fact. It might not be best of friends. It would be good if you can behave cordial and behave civil in their presence. It's now 3:44, and it would be good if you could live civil. Let's hear what Nancy has to say. Nancy, what say you?
Good evening again, sir. Um, Honestly, my honest point of view is that they they don't both side. I meant both sides, sir. They don't allow the kids. They don't allow that person to be an adult. Some of them just know stuff fast and like but in every situation on both sides. If it's not the mother, on the daughter's side is the father, and it goes both ways, where both members are just family members are just enough. But that's the truth. That's how I see it, and I'm speaking from experience.
Okay, all right. Now you hear the lady a while ago. She say she's speaking from experience, right? So that them enough and them just up in your face. Ah, so what do you do now for the rest of your life? Remember, you have pledged to live with this person, your husband or your wife. In this case, it's a husband. You have to live with your husband now, and you know that him going over to your in-laws. He has to go there at one point or the other, and maybe what you do, don't go there at all. Don't talk to them, X them out. How do you deal with it? I mean, uh, I know things might not be chummy chummy with them, but you have to at least try. You have to at least try to make it work. Am I right? Talk to me, somebody. You have to make it work. You have to try to make it work, and live as civil as possible. You know, when you keep distance, and when you avoid, and when you get into confrontation, it only makes it worse, right? All right. So in-laws, are they important or not? Do you avoid in-laws? Do you, whenever there a conversation is started up and your in-laws are involved, you exit the room? What do you do? Um, when you are invited over to family dinner, let's say you don't, do you don't want them to come over, or what? How do you really resolve this? Avoiding them won't help. um you might not want to, but there are some things that you have to make an effort. And I say this very seriously. You have to make an effort out of it, and not ignore that they are there, and they are there for as long as you choose to be married to this person. Now, you see, there are things that you will have to think about before. And sometimes you didn't see this coming because they were all nice when you began. But now that you have taken away somebody for them who used to be main support to them, and maybe they used to get favors and things from their brother or sister, and know that they are married to you, they can't get as they used to, and they can't come over as they used to, and they can't, be involved in this person's life as they used to because of you. There's going to be a little tension. So, how do you resolve that problem? Talk to me now, please. You can call me on the number 384-8037, 876-384-8037. You can give me a call and let's talk about it. Or send me the voice note, as my good friend sent me a while ago. Send me a voice note, and that's very same number on WhatsApp platform. All right. So I really, really want you to think about it because um, you are married to this man. Let's put it in a male context. You're married to this man as a woman. You're married to this man, and his family is going to be in his life, whether you like it or not. Right? So what do you say? Um, oh, my in-laws, and I'm on YouTube now. My in-law don't rate me. I'm far from them. My in-law don't rate me. So I'm far from them. Wow. It seems as if all the in-laws are giving more problems than usual. Do we have any good in-laws out there? Any good in-laws? You find any good experience? Any good experience? Wow. I'm seeing here on the WhatsApp platform, my in-laws. Um, I move away from my in-laws. We used to be close, but something happened and we had to remove from where we were living. Oh, I see. So it didn't really start out like that, but it developed into something. And then but you should get it fixed. Try to at least make it fixed, because sometimes, I tell you this, as in all relationships, um, if you if when you are hurt you try to answer or deal with the problem, sometimes it's better to cool off first before you try to address the problem, because in your anger you're going to say things that should not be said. Let's put it like that. You're going to say things that you should not say, and you're going to do things sometimes in your anger. So it's best if when you're not feeling too right about the situation and when you feel angry, it's best that you kind of cool off and just walk away. And then and at a later date, when you are calm and collective, then you address, I didn't like what you said the other day. I didn't like what you did. Um, and now I want to kind of just clear the air, that I don't hate you, and so on. And things would move on if you deal with it like that. But if you deal with it sometimes on hand, at the very moment that something happened, sometimes words fly, things are said that really hurt, and then it causes a rift, and it gets even wider when it's not addressed. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because when it's not addressed, you might believe that time covers it and heal it. No, it makes it worse. So if they are not addressed, you may not be able to address it at the time when it occurred, but you have to deal with it over time, right? So in-laws, like every other relationship, they might start off good, and in the middle, and at certain points of the relationship, there are things that are done and you don't like them. I always say deal with issues right away. But if you can't deal with it right away, deal with it at some more appropriate time. Don't let it fester. Don't let it stay there and fester into something bigger. Because sometimes it becomes a monster and you cannot deal with it at that time. I see my good friend, Abigail Palmer. I want her to, I know she's young, individual, but she has she has her head screwed down on her body. I know she's a very level-headed person. Talk to me. How do you see in-laws? You might not have any in-law right now, but you might be one of the in-laws. Yes, and your sister-in-law or your brother-in-law. How do you see it? Um, and well, the mother-in-law is always the hobby horse where everybody ride on the mother-in-law because they say she is the wicked witch of Rose Hall. No, please don't say mother-in-law like that. Um, what if she is? Whoa, that was sharp. What if she is? No. Well, you would be a witch-in-law. You would be a witch. That's sad to say. But uh, uh, um, talk to me. How important are in-laws? And is there a song I should play for mother for in-laws? Is there a song that I should play for in-laws? If you had a song to play for in-laws, which song would you play? Would you play for your in-laws? Which song you think would be appropriate to play? I think my friend would give me a song that I should play um for your in-laws. Um, you know, it, it's important. It's important. Uh, but as we look at it, it's a real issue that we need to deal with. It's not something that we can sidestep. If I may say so, we can't sidestep it. I think we're going to take a break, and when we take the break and come back, we're going to deal with it. How do you deal with it? Are you going to sidestep it? Or are you going to um, deal with it? So let's go to the break.
What are you doing this weekend? Well, here's some good advice. Treat yourself to a deep tissue body scrub. Or maybe you need a Swedish, or better yet, hot stone treatment. It's all available by appointment. Call Karen Reed at 876-896-2198. Your body is our passion and spa. 18 North Street, Montego Bay, at shop number 8 is the place for total body care. We do facials, manicure, pedicure, body massages. Opening hours Monday to Thursday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Don't procrastinate. Come rejuvenate. Call Shauna Williams today at 876-591-6448. Your body is our passion and spa.
Caribbean University offers a certificate, diploma, and Bachelor of Arts in Ministry Leadership, as well as Bachelor of Arts in Christian Counseling in Ministry Leadership. We also offer a certificate course in the School of Ministry and have partnered with Advanced Solutions Technical Institute, offering introductory certification in fiber optic technology, mobile phone technologies, and hybrid electrical vehicle servicing. For more information on any of our courses, call us at 876-953-8596 or 876-627-3916 or email us at mainoffice.ecu@gmail.com.
When it comes to makeover in Western Jamaica, there's only one name that comes to mind: Nardia's Touch. For for body waxing at its best, whether arms, legs, facial, bikini, Brazilian. Nordia's is the place. Shop number 16, Summit Business Center, Fairview, Montego Bay, just upstairs in Myers Hair Artistry. To call for appointments, 876-357-2273. We do also relaxing, rinse, permanent, highlights, shampoos, and so much more. Look and feel your best. It's Nordia's.
When the clock strikes 1 on a Wednesday afternoon, it's time for gospel in motion. It is time for good music, for good vibes, for good fellowship. Come in for the music, stay for the fellowship. It's gospel in motion, 1 through to 4 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon.
Are you concerned for you or your loved one's final expenses? Well, help is on the way with Peter James, your first choice for final expense planning. Just think, no GoFundMe or yard sale, no garage sale. If you're between the ages of 40 to 85, please call Peter for a plan designed specifically for you, for your peace of mind. Please call Peter James at 678-973-5234. He'll customize affordable plans for final expenses to suit your needs. Call Peter James, your healthy choice for final expenses. 678-973-5234. Serving Florida, Georgia, Alabama, and the Carolinas. Again, call 678-973-5234. That's 678-973-5234.
From Wedding World, your complete wedding solution from beginning to end. In Jamaica, Section 6 of the Marriage Act states that ministers of religious denominations, whether for one or more congregations, shall be entitled to be appointed marriage officers for the island. However, appointment may be refused if he or she is deemed unfit. Your wedding tip from Wedding World, your complete wedding solution from beginning to end. Call 876-545-1866 or email info@weddingworldja.com.
Tuesdays at 3 p.m. It's time for Marriage Talk. If you are separated, if you are married, if you are contemplating marriage, this is the program for you. Suzanne Baker will take you through the paces of Marriage Talk. Marriage Talk is here on Gold FM every Tuesday at 3 p.m.
You're
to 4.
listening to Pastor Ivan Hall on Gold Radio Jamaica.
Oh, yeah. Right, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. And a lot has happened since can I say I got a song from one of my good friends. She sent me a song and she said, "Play this, please, Pastor." And she was laughing. But then I got a comment from another good friend, and she says, "I would go and play as if you want to be there, but keep a still tongue, and I truly think it's wrong." Exactly, that's what's wrong, because they won't be able to get what they want like one time. So they are mad. But I am going to be the better in-law. I like the last part of what you said. I'm going to be the better person. Yeah, I'm not going to keep up the foolishness. I'm going to be the better person. And of course, I'm going to, be more mature. Yes, because there are a lot of times as adults, we behave kind of, more like children. They don't settle and iron out the differences. They just quarrel and bicker at each other, and we can't really. That really not is not maturity. So, as adults, you need to behave in a mature manner and not bicker at every little. There are things that you need to just chill. Don't bother say anything. Just keep quiet. Don't say anything. Don't get involved. But there are things that you need to maybe address, and address it at a time when you're not angry. All right? Okay, let's go to the song now. My good friend, she gave me this song, and I am going to go to it. Listen to it. Oh, Jesus.
Mother-in-law, mother-in-law, mother-in-law,
person I know. Mother-in-law, mother-in-law, oh, she worries me so. Mother-in-law, if she leave us alone, oh, we would have a happy home. Sent from down below. Mother-in-law, 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 Satan shouldn't be her name. Mother-in-law, mother-in-law, to me they're about the same. Mother-in-law, mother-in-law, every time I open my mouth, steps and try to put me out. How could she stoop so low? Mother-in-law, mother-in-law, mother-in-law. I come home with my pay. Mother-in-law, she asks me what I made. Mother-in-law, she think her advice is a contribution. But if she will leave, that would be the solution. And don't come back no more. Mother-in-law, my mother-in-law, 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 oh yeah, mother-in-law, my.
Oh my goodness. What? Satan should be her name. For to me, they're just the same. Oh God. No, man. This is not nice. This is not nice. Ah, wow. But that was Ernie K. Doe and mother-in-law. Yes. Whoa, not a nice picture there. Not a nice picture at all of mother-in-law. In-laws are usually kind of, you know, important in a way because in order to know your spouse better, um, they would kind of give you the atmosphere under which your spouse was grown, you know, and if they are close, if they are affectionate, if they are nosy, if them, you know, inquisitive, if them what have you, you would know it by their disposition because yeah, everybody is different, but there is a general trend that runs through the family. Yeah, and it will be seen in your spouse, you know. So I don't want to say mean things, but whatever they are and however they behave, there is some similarity in your partner. Mhm. Yes, I know you might not agree with that, but that's how it is, really. There are certain things that run through the entire family. There's a certain um, behavior pattern. They might even talk alike, um, you know. But you need to now know that your spouse have some of these traits that is being displayed by your in-laws, you know, especially if it's father or mother. They take their DNA is all wrapped up in these people. and their disposition, how she was grown, how he was grown, is going to be reflected in them. Yes, so there are some similarities. There might not be hook, line, and sinker, but there are some similarities of behavior. All right, let me go to my friend here. Just sidestep it and stay far from the wicked in law because only God can help most of these in law. Oh, Jesus, that sounds bitter. That sounds really bitter. But yeah, your in-laws have some similarities to your spouse, or should I say it the other way? Your spouse have something from them, and that trend runs through the family. You know, so um sometimes in courtship you ignore some of these signs. You might see them, or you say, I've never seen that in her, before, but it was there. But because you were so um in love, you did not see the signs. You did not pay attention, and you ignored it to some extent, and you got involved with the family, with your spouse. And when it surfaced now in the relationship while you are married, it's irreversible. You can't change that anymore. And you've got to find a way to deal with it. Okay? All right. So we're talking about in-laws. Are they important? We just played the song from Ernie Doe, and there's some serious things said in that song that I am wondering if that is really how it really is. You know, should we accept that hook, line, and sinker? Should we say that, well, I better not their John shop? That's how it is, and that's how it will ever be. Can we do repair? Now, Erica, I want to get your views on this. Erica, um, is it possible that the mother-in-law or the in-laws, not just mother-in-law, in-law, brother, sister, in-law, father, can adjust to let peace reign in the lives of the couple? Can both sides do some adjusting to cause peace to reign? Is it necessary for us to do that, to let peace reign? Is it necessary for the wife or husband to adjust themselves so that you can get along? I mean, even if it's not chummy, but civil, you know, we can do things to let it not be as awful as it is right now, or make it, or improve it from where it is now to a higher level. Can we can we think of things that we can do? What can be done to repair the relationship between you and your in-laws, whether it be sister, brother-in-law, father-in-law, mother-in-law? What can be done? How can we repair it since it has gone south and it's really bad, it's really terrible? Is there anything that can be done to repair the relationship between you and your in-laws? Is it good that it doesn't need repair? um Tell me some good things that happen that mother in-laws can do, can can help the marriage with. How can in-laws become an asset rather than a liability? How can, in what ways can in-laws become an asset to your marriage? In what ways? Tell me if there is any possibility of that. All right. I will look at it carefully. This is Marriage Talk. It's on every Tuesday from 3 to 4:30 right here on Gold Radio Jamaica, and we discuss real life issues that happen in marriage. We're not afraid of discussing. We've been through sex, we've been through. We're now in laws, and may I just say this: we were the first ones to come up with it. Um, I hear a lot of people doing it now and going after it. Marriage talk is a trendsetter, not following, right? So I hear other people doing it. Well, the more the merrier. And if you're discussing it, do it responsibly. And we are here saying no, that it's important that in-laws get together and get everything sorted out. How can we repair the relationship if it's bad? How can we repair the relationship if it's bad? So, what can be done to repair the relationship? Let me hear what my good friend here is saying.
I would like to shake the hands of that person who gave you that song. Honestly, I would love to shake that person's hand.
I I don't believe this. You really
Sir, I would like to shake the hands of that person who gave you that song. Honestly, I would love to shake that person's hand.
all right. My good friend Erica says, I have the best mother in law on the planet. Oh, yeah. That sounds good. That sounds good. Now, I don't have the luxury of a mother in law. My wife's mother passed off when she was a child. So I didn't have a mother in law. My wife had a mother in law, and she loved my mother so much. They were so close. Yes. My wife loved my mother. And, you know, the both of them were, she took her as her daughter. And when I say daughter, that our biological daughter. So, yes, I didn't have the privilege of having a mother-in-law, but I've heard of mother-in-law. Okay, now Sister Powell says she has the best mother-in-law on the planet. Wow, that's really awesome. I mean, I congratulate you on the relationship between you and your mother-in-law. That's good. That's this to be commended. And somebody is saying they want me to play back the song. But why? Why you want me to play back such a song? No, sir. I mean, we must play back the song. Play back the song, Pastor. Play back the song. All right, let me let me see if I can find where it is. Oh my God, this is not right. This is not right. All right, I tell you what, we will play back the song at the end of the program. But let's talk about now repairing the damage that has already been done, repairing the relationship between you and your in-laws. And as I said, it's not just mother-in-law alone, because everybody seems to be talking about mother-in-law. Their fathers-in-law too, that they are hostile to their child's spouse. Yes, their father-in-law who really don't like the man that the daughter come home with, you know, the father-in-law, and is willing to make some serious damage to the man who come around. And where you go pick up that from, and then we. So I want you to know that there are also fathers-in-law um who are not um courteous to their sons-in-law, and while we don't hear a lot about it, it does happen. And um, how can we repair if you're a son and your father, if you are a son-in-law and your father-in-law is hostile against you marrying his daughter? Because I've known of men who are afraid to even approach the girl's father, you know, and they don't approach, they elope and go married and come back and say they're married. you know, and the father is vehemently. And the problem with it, is that some people take it to another level, that even the children born in the marriage, they despise the children because of who their father is, and they despise the children of the marriage because they didn't want the girl to have children with the husband that she has married, and they label the children like that. And that's not fair. That is really not fair. you know Anybody out there like that, where the father, your children now born in your marriage, um the in-laws are hostile against them because they don't like you as a spouse, or don't like her as a spouse? How has it been? How do we repair that? Yes. How do we repair that? How do we change that? Because the children are not really the problem. Whatever you have with the parents, whatever you have with one parent or the other, your in-law, you shouldn't take it out on the children. They're taking it a step further than just one generation. They've gone to the second generation, and that's really cruel. That's cruel. I say that publicly. That's cruel, and we shouldn't do that. The children should not suffer because of some disagreement or some thing that you and your in-laws would have. Because I tell you what, some people say, boy, in favor, in pa. I mean, I like the boy there. In favor of the mother. I mean, I like her, and names are being called, and that makes it even worse. In-laws must know that you don't go down that road. Don't do that. Don't let the children um be in problems because there is no maturity among the adults. Yes, no maturity in the life of the adult. So therefore, the children suffer because of that. And so I want to talk to you and give some advice now, as to how um, we deal with in-laws. Now, first and foremost, the in-laws must know their distance. They must know their distance. And by that I mean, you must know when to come in, and that is usually when you are invited. When you are invited, when you are requested to come, you come, right? You can talk to your daughter, you can talk to your son, right? And please convey your regards to your in-law. How is she there? Where him there? No, please. He's the man of the house. She's the woman of the house. Respect. And I said at the beginning of the program that respect goes a far way. And you might think you're doing your son a favor by dissing his wife. You really diss your son. If you as a mother-in-law see that um, the decision of your son or daughter is not good enough to meet up to your standards, then you are going to be disrespecting them for making that decision. So you have to respect their decision. You have to respect them. And lack of respect for them will cause you and your son in law, daughter in law to become discontented. Because how you treat your daughter in law or your son in law is the amount of respect that you have for your son or daughter. Right? I hope you get that. Because sometimes you feel that you are doing your son a service by dissing his wife. No, you are really disrespecting him. You don't have no respect for him. You see him as a little boy, can't make decision. Learn to fix up that. Respect your son. Respect your daughter. She has made her choice. He has made his choice. Respect that. And no matter how she look, and no matter how she might look to you, she or he is her or his choice. Okay? Right. So respect goes a long way in, and so please respect your your um your son or daughter's decision or choice. Right? Another thing too, please don't go over them, don't intrude, don't go over their house. And this is all me do it at my house. No, they are building their home. Don't go over there and try to make it into your home. And don't go over there uninvited. Don't go over there and say, my son, oh, someone can come. No. Right? Don't go over there uninvited. And don't interfere in anything that you see there. Right? Allow them to live their life, make their mistakes, and correct them. Right? If they ask of you, if they ask of you for advice, you give the advice measuredly. Can I say that again? If they ask for advice, you give the advice measuredly. Don't say all of what you have to say. Be careful of what you say. All right? So, just some advice for the in laws. Please respect the people, them. Respect their decisions. Please don't meddle, and please don't go uninvited. And if you are asked for advice, give it measuredly. All right? That's enough. I think we have a respondent here.
Just reach home. Just reach home. Not even take off my clothes.
All right. That's not related to what we're talking about. So, we're talking about now in laws. Are they important to the married life? In laws. All right. Are they important for married life? All right. Somebody asked me to play back the song that I played, and they think that, this song is so fitting for their mother-in-law. I don't know. I don't know. This is not nice. Anyway, I'm gonna play it again. Ernie K. Doe.
Mother-in-law,
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 mother-in-law, the worst person I know.
mother-in-law,
Mother-in-law, how she worries me so.
mother-in-law,
Mother-in-law, if she leave us alone, or we would have a happy home. Sent from down below.
mother-in-law,
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 mother-in-law, Satan shouldn't be her name.
mother-in-law,
Mother-in-law, to me they're about the same.
mother-in-law,
Mother-in-law, every time I open my mouth, steps and try to put me out. How could she stoop so low?
mother-in-law,
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 mother-in-law.
Just want to apologize for Susan Baker's absence today. had some important matters to deal with. But she'll be back next week.
I come home with my pay. Mother-in-law, she asked me what I made. Mother-in-law, she think her advice is a contribution. But if she will leave, that would be the solution. And don't come back no more. Mother-in-law, my mother-in-law, 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 oh yeah, mother-in-law. She asked me what I made. Mother-in-law, she think her advice is a contribution. But if she will leave, that would be the solution. And don't come back no more. Mother-in-law, my mother-in-law, mother-in-law.
Well, you might have one of those. Oh, my Lord, I tell you. It is, we've come to the end of the program today, and we really are so sorry that Suzanne Baker could not make it. But I had to hang on in there for the program. So I hope you learned something. I hope that there was something that we discussed that would help to enhance or to bring your marriage to a better place. And we were talking about in-laws, not just mother-in-law, in-laws. And are they important for the marriage? Are they important in a marriage? And as we go, I just want you to remember that, it's only a fool that thinks he knows that don't know he doesn't know. So be careful that when you don't know, you admit, I don't know. But it's only a fool that thinks he knows when he knows not. Shun him. And for those that know, I think we have one final comment here. Let me go to it.
So, my kids' father family does not like me, and because of that, they have all the wrong things to say about my children. Them, and guess what happened? I just keep them far from them. So that experience is like one of the worst. And my oldest child, for that man, which all my children are for him, is like 19. So that vengeance is coming very far.
Wow. Anyway, whatever the situation is in your experience, we pray for healing. We pray for reconciliation. We pray for something to happen that would change, because these kids are going to live with that, and we hope that the damage has been done to them, that the damage has not been done to them that cannot be repaired. All right, thank you so much for being here with us. And as we go, we want you to remember, please be good to somebody else. Right? Do all the good you can to all the people you can, just as long as you can. And Pastor Hall here, on behalf of Susan Baker, who could not make it today, we say, have a very, very good evening in tonight, and keep it locked on Gold Radio Jamaica.
Mother-in-law,
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 mother-in-law, the worst person I know.
mother-in-law,
If she leave us alone, or we would have a happy home. Sent from down below. Mother-in-law, mother-in-law. Satan shouldn't be her name. Mother-in-law, to me they're about the same. Mother-in-law, every time I open my mouth, steps in right to put me out. How words not know. Mother-in-law, oh, she worries me so. Mother-in-law, if she leave us alone, oh, we would have a happy home. Sent from down below. Mother-in-law, mother-in-law, Satan shouldn't be her name. Mother-in-law, to me they're about the same. Mother-in-law, every time I open my mouth, steps in right to put me out. How could she stoop so low? Mother-in-law, mother-in-law, mother-in-law. I come home with my pay. Mother-in-law, she asked me what I made. Mother-in-law, she think her advice is a contribution. But if she will leave, that would be the solution. And don't come back no more. Mother-in-law, my mother-in-law, oh, mother-in-law.
Hi there, I'm Janet Quinlan, and this is Finding Joy in Motherhood, the podcast for women who are looking for practical tools and words of encouragement to create an orderly, joyful, faith and virtue-driven home. I'll share tips to create mindset shifts that change the way you discipline your children, love your husband, and enjoy your day. This podcast is about coaching women to be the best woman God is calling her to be. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to episode 90, The Complex Relationship of Mother-in-Law and Daughter-in-Law. I've had a number of people ask me to do an episode on mother-in-law and daughters-in-law. And to be honest, I have sort of put it off because it's still a little new to me, and I am definitely still learning. I have two daughters-in-law, and I'll speak just a little bit about them later. But the first thing I just do want to say is this is a work in progress for all of us. Or it doesn't happen overnight. In fact, when I got married, I thought that since my husband loved me so much, my mother-in-law would also love me that much. And I expected it at first glance, no less. And I thought that since I loved him so much, she and I would be best friends. But that didn't happen. At the time, I was young, I was 22, and of course had expectations of how things should go. I had my, quote, mother-in-law manual. We've talked about manuals in other episodes. A manual is just a list of actions and expectations that we expect from someone. And so I had my mother-in-law manual of how she should behave and think and how she should treat me. And I think the truth of the matter was she didn't particularly want a daughter-in-law. She was very close to her son, and I was perceived as a threat. This is very common in this relationship. Often our sons marry someone different from us, so that can raise all kinds of insecurities and a sense of competition. So we find ourselves wanting to make sure that our son still loves us, even though he's fallen in love with someone so different from us. So, again, full disclosure, my experience and the advice I have to offer on how to be a good mother in law comes from a broken relationship with my mother in law. And how I wanted my relationship to be with my daughters in law was a direct result of that non relationship. And so, on some levels, I probably tried too hard in the beginning. But I love my daughters in law. I love how they challenge my sons to be better. And I really love the mothers they are becoming. All right, first, let's lighten the mood a little bit. Well, actually, this might not lighten the mood if you can identify with this, but I went online and I Googled mothers-in-law just to see, what was out there. Like I said, I don't have a relationship with mine, so I was trying to see what is all the fuss about. I was shocked. I was amazed. Things blew my mind about stories about mothers-in-law. I read about a mother-in-law who demanded to be in the delivery room when the baby was born. I read another story about a mother-in-law who secretly took video of the birth without her daughter-in-law knowing it. There was a mother-in-law who gave her daughter-in-law baby gifts when she wasn't even pregnant. There was a story about a mother-in-law who made a duplicate engagement ring for herself, a duplicate of the one that her son had given to his new fiancé. There was a story about a mother-in-law telling the grandchildren to call her mommy. And there are all kinds of stories about mothers-in-law who don't respect the boundaries of their grandchildren and their daughter-in-law and son. But here's the big one. You probably heard about this. It was a huge post on Twitter about the mother-in-law who showed up to her son's wedding in a white wedding dress. And I saw the picture, and they are nearly identical. White silk satin. It was amazing. Now, we're talking about daughters-in-law because generally, as women, we're the ones who kind of have a little conflict in our relationships. Son-in-law, mother-in-law, sometimes there's conflict, but it seems that we're able to work that out a little bit. A lot of what I'm going to talk about today, though, does apply to our relationship with our son-in-law as well. The first thing I want to talk about is navigating your relationship with your daughter-in-law. I think it's really important to cultivate a relationship with your daughter-in-law independent of your son. Get to know her as a person, not just as your son's wife. It's important to treat her as your own daughter, but you'll never be her mom. You'll have a different relationship with her, and it can still be great. I hear from a lot of people about how the grandmother treats her own daughters differently from her daughters-in-law. And that's a pity. We should be kind and loving to all the mothers of our grandchildren. Give your daughter-in-law space to find her own way of doing things. She may ask you for advice, but be careful, as she may not want to hear it. It's difficult to hear a different approach to something that you've done all your life. And your daughter-in-law may also feel intimidated by you and what you do and how you do it, because she's comparing herself now as a new wife and a new mother to you, where you've had 25, 30, 35 years of experience. So just understand that when you're giving advice, if she asks for it, you're making it clear to her that this is from years and years of messing up yourself and gaining your own experience. Find ways to compliment her and encourage her and nurture your relationship with her. You won't have a strong, close bond overnight. Just because your son fell in love with her doesn't mean that you're going to fall in love with her that quickly. Relationships deepen with time and opportunity. You know, I've always heard the saying, love is a choice. And when you're in your early 20s or 30s or whenever you're falling in love, you feel like it's not a choice. You feel like it's just something that happens and something you should do. But really, it is a choice. And when our son or our daughter brings home a future spouse, we have to make the choice to love them. It doesn't just happen. Remember that your daughter-in-law was raised in a different environment than the home you raised your own children in. She will have patterns and habits and routines of behavior that may be completely different from yours. In most cases, unless we consciously choose to be something different, we grow up to be the kind of wife and mother our own mother was. That's not going to be the wife and mother you have been. Let her be who she is. Let her make her own choices about who she wants to become. If her husband is happy, then you should be happy. If her husband isn't happy, then he should be the one to work it out with her. Let her love him and let him love her on their terms. And when you first meet your future son-in-law or daughter-in-law, don't tell them all your children's faults. And then also don't believe your children have no faults. The next thing I want to talk about is respect her as your son's wife and your grandchildren's mother. Her babies are not your babies. Know your boundaries and keep them. Ask if you can see them or visit. Don't just show up. And when they do come to visit in your home, honor their rules and requests if you're watching their children. Nap time schedule needs to be followed. Eating schedule or selection of foods should be honored. TV or non-TV preferences should be understood. Now, that doesn't mean that if you have rules and regulations in your own home, that the children don't need to follow that. Our grandchildren know very clearly that upstairs, they're to be quiet. They're to speak quietly. Downstairs, they can do whatever they want. Those are my rules in my home. So it's not that you can't have your own rules in your own home, but you do need to honor the mother of your grandchildren and her rules. You are not the fixer in their marriage. It really is none of your business. All right, never get between your son and his wife with your opinion or take sides in an argument. Be supportive in any way you can, which doesn't mean insert yourself to be supportive. They need to figure out their marriage relationship, and then they need to figure out how their family life will go. Step back and let them have the freedom and the space to do that. Do not insert yourself in your son and his wife's personal choices. You may think that in some particular instance they're making a big mistake, and maybe they are, but it will be their mistake. And by the way, don't forget, you made a lot of mistakes when you were their age. What to do if your children come to ask for advice? Well, if they come to you with marriage disagreements, help them to see their spouse's point of view. Do not be that parent that when your children, your adult children come to you and ask you basically to approve all that they're thinking, don't be that person. That's not fair to the spouse because you don't know the whole argument. You don't know both sides. So make sure that if you're giving advice, you're helping them to see their spouse's point of view and giving them the tools to go work it out, not to take sides. Again, always be charitable and nurturing rather than quick to point out who's right or wrong. Often the best thing we can do is to help them see their spouse's perspective. The most important component to a great relationship between a mother-in-law and a daughter-in-law is how we think about each other and giving each other the benefit of the doubt. It doesn't cost us anything to choose a charitable thought instead of an easy negative one. As a mother-in-law, you can choose to see the faults and failings, all the negative aspects of your son's wife. And she can choose to see all of your faults and failings. If we're in competition with each other, that's what we'll do. But when we choose to focus on the faults and failings, we choose not to see their gifts and talents. And be aware that your daughter-in-law probably has a mother-in-law manual for you and how you should act, what you should and shouldn't do, and probably a whole set of other expectations. Again, this is so common. We all have manuals for everyone else in our life about their behavior. We often neglect to have a manual for our own, but that's a whole nother topic. If we control our thoughts to choose only the ones that serve us, rather than the easy ones of criticism or self-doubt, we will nurture a relationship rather than sabotage it. With my own mother-in-law, instead of choosing thoughts that didn't serve either of us, like, she doesn't like me, she doesn't think I'm a good mother, she isn't interested in a relationship with me. If instead I chose thoughts like, it's not me, this has nothing to do with me, I'm a likable person, lots of people like me, she doesn't want anyone to take her son away from her, has nothing to do with me, she's not happy, so there's no way she's going to be happy with me. If I had the maturity at the time, at 22, to think those thoughts, it would have enabled me to be in the relationship without contributing to the ill will of the relationship. And I would have been freed up from the years and years of trying to make her like me. I couldn't make her do anything. And truth be told, I'm not even sure she didn't like me. She was just unhappy with circumstances that had nothing to do with me. I'm not suggesting you're going to have happy thoughts all the time. I'm not even suggesting that relationships are going to be easy peasy with everyone happy. But when we self-coach, when we become aware of our thoughts, it's not about having happy thoughts all the time, like rainbows and unicorns. Self-coaching is about revealing what our thoughts are and how they influence our feelings and actions. We cannot control anyone else's actions. We can't control their thoughts. We can only control ours and how we respond to circumstances and events in our life. The critical advice that I can give on the mother-in-law, daughter-in-law relationship is don't assume that because you think it, it is true. Mothers, let your son go. Don't put him in the middle of the who do you love me more competition. Daughters-in-law, know that she loves your husband, her son, with a full heart, and be patient with her as your son becomes more and more detached from her. You'll understand how hard it is to have a son detached from his mother when your own son does it to you. And yet, it must be so. In Ephesians chapter 5, verse 31, we read, "For this reason a man shall leave his father and his mother and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh." Mothers, it's hard. When you have loved and sacrificed and done everything you can for your children, it's hard to let them go, and yet you must. The best way to let them go is to pray for their spouse, whether it's your daughter-in-law or your son-in-law. Pray that they grow in faith and bring Christ to the center of their lives and their marriage. And if you have children who aren't married yet, pray for their future spouse, that they will be healthy in body, mind, and spirit, that they will be generous and humble, and that they will love your children with their whole being. And in the end, the greatest of these is love. Take care. If you like what you heard, I'd be so grateful if you'd subscribe, leave a review, and share with friends. Thank you. Have a great week.